Will the meeting please come to order? Will all members of the council as well as the public please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation this evening will be offered by Reverend Diane Kristen from the Greater Bethel AME Church, the guest of Councilmember at Large Sharon Hurt.
Let us pray. O Lord, my Lord, when I in awesome wonder consider all the world thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe display. Eternal God, our Father, we come today with thanksgiving in our hearts. We thank you, gracious Father, for life and the ability to live in a free country. Thank you, O God, that we, your people, are blessed to live, breathe, and have our being in this land, this country, our United States of America. Now, O God, bless the members of the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville. Bless their communities from the north, the south, the east, and the west. Provide them each with the wisdom and knowledge that is perfect in your sight. Bless their constituency one by one, and grant them the peace that surpasses all understanding. Let this meeting move forward decently and in order, according to your will, O God. Let the words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart be acceptable in your sight, gracious Father. O merciful Father, continue to provide comfort to our mayor and her family during this painful season of her life. Remind her to look to the hills from which cometh her help, for her help cometh from you. Grant, O God, your peace, your love, your mercy, and kindness to this great city. And that is our prayer. And we will be so careful to give you all the honor, the praise, and the glory that you are justly due. We ask this now in the matchless name of Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Reverend Kristen. It had been suggested to me tonight that we have a moment of silence for the woman who passed away in Charlottesville and for the 3 construction workers for whom there was a vigil out front tonight who've died on the work site in the last 3 months. But I'm frankly kind of over the moments of silence. We've had too many of them in the 2 years we've been here. So I would ask each of you and the members of the public who are watching not to be silent, but instead to speak out against what we're seeing in the country right now. Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes of the meeting of August 1st, 2017? Without objection, those minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
No, Mr. Vice Mayor. There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We now move to elections and confirmations. As a report from the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee. Council Lady Haywood. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Schulman, are you still Chair of Rules? I guess you are.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Today is my final report, council members. Yes, my very last one. And with as much fun as I've had, Mr. Vice Mayor, after tonight, I will be done. I know some council members may shed some tears and be so very sad, but I do know of at least one individual that should be extremely glad. So tonight, in my tenure as the very obnoxious Rules Chair, my job was to question any and everything so as to keep all matters fair. I tried to do it with a smile while keeping things on track. Mr. Vice Mayor, I'm the Rules Chair, I can continue. There is no rule for that. I tried to do it with a smile while keeping things on track, always knowing full well that Mike Jamison always had my back. So tonight I end my efforts with two last people to confirm, Dr. Schatzline and Ms. Sprouse, both to serve with a specific term. Rules approve them both with 8-4 and not a negative vote in sight. I move you then, Mr. Vice Mayor, that we approve them both tonight.
Oh, okay. All right. We do have an agenda, and we are going to. So,
I moved them both. Do you want me to explain who they are?
yeah, please. Is there a report from the Rules and Confirmations Committee?
Yeah, I'm going to refer to Vice Chair Haywood.
Go ahead.
Hospital Authority, the appointment of Dr. Michael Schatzline, who I just mentioned in my poem, for a term expiring July 1st, 2022. We reviewed that, passed an 8-4-0 against, and I would move for approval.
There's a motion to confirm Dr. Michael H. Schatzline to the Hospital Authority. It's been properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Reappointment of Ms. Carolyn Sprouse for a term expiring May 5th, 2020. This is a reappointment to the NECAT Board. We approved that one 8-4-0 against, and I would move for approval.
You've heard a motion for confirmation of Ms. Caroline Sprouse to the Nashville Education, Community, and Arts Television. It's been properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would like to congratulate everyone who has been confirmed tonight. So if you would please stand as I call your name and remain standing until everyone has been introduced. To the Hospital Authority, Dr. Michael H. Schatzline, and to Nashville Education, Community, and Arts Television, NECAT, Ms. Caroline Sprouse. We do thank you for your service, and on behalf of the Metropolitan Council and the citizens of Davidson County, congratulations.
Thank you.
We do have, you are welcome to stay as long as you'd like, but you're free to go. A little bit of council business to take care of, two things. First, we have an election for the President Pro Tem. Are there any nominations? Councilor Lady Dowell. Oops. Councilor Lady Dowell.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to nominate Council Lady Sherry Weiner to serve as our pro tempore for the council. I've had the pleasure of serving with Council Lady Weiner for the last 6 years. During this time, she has served as chair of numerous committees, vice chair of our Budget and Finance Committee, in which she's conducted our meetings and done so very successfully. In addition to that, she's very knowledgeable of the rules. We've worked together in establishing some of the rules on the council over the years. I believe she has the experience, she has the time to serve, and she'll make a great pro tempore for us. And I ask for all of you to join me in supporting her. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed. Council Lady Weiner, without objection, you are elected by acclamation. Congratulations. Councilman Roten, will you please stand? Congratulations on adding another Nashvilleian to the tally. We welcome you back with open arms and look forward to seeing your newest brought to the council chamber soon. Congratulations. One more bit of council business primarily. Notice is being given by a memorandum on your desk from me that there are 3 vacancies on the Industrial Development Board. The procedure for filling these vacancies is set forth in Council Rule 43 and further outlined in the memorandum. So everybody take a look at that. Our election of that will be on the 19th September. Nominations are due at our next meeting, September 5th. Is that correct, Mr. Jameson? That brings us to our regular agenda. Resolutions on public hearing, RS 2017-822, Councillady Weiner. Exempts Bare Bones Butcher located at 906 51st Avenue North from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Councillady Weiner.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I appreciate it. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Would all those in favor of RS 2017-822 please raise your hands? Those opposed? Seeing none opposed, do those in favor wish to speak? Declare the public hearing closed. Councillady Weiner.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. In light of the fact that this was brought before the Public Safety Committee and there was no quorum, I'm going to ask that it be deferred one meeting and re-referred to the committee.
Right, the public hearing is completed, and it just needs to come back before the committee and the council as a whole. So,
okay. Thank you.
So there's a motion to defer one meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to the consent agenda. It's awfully early in the night for the consent agenda, but I'll take it. The following items are on the consent agenda: RS 2017-823 through 830. Is there any item that that's everything on the resolution agenda? Is there any item that a council member would like to be removed? Seeing none, let me read through those. RS 2017-823, Councilman Anthony Davis Cooper and others, authorizes the Director of Public Property to acquire real property as part of the Clean Water Nashville Overflow Abatement Program. RS 2017-824, Councilman Syracuse and Cooper, approves a Friend of Two Rivers Mansion grant to the Metro Parks and Recreation Department to provide funding for one employee's salary at Two Rivers Mansion. RS 2017-825, Cooper and Murphy, approves an amendment to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to establish career services for eligible adults, youth, and dislocated workers with barriers to employment. RS 2017-826, Cooper and Murphy, approves an amendment to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to establish programs to prepare adult service recipients for employment. RS 2017-827, Cooper, Allen, and Elrod, approves a Keep America Beautiful Lowe's Community Partner Grant to the Metro Public Works Department to plant trees and daffodils at schools during the Hands on Nashville Day and Tree Foundation's Reliefing Day. RS 2017-828, O'Connell, Allen, and Elrod, authorizes Cafe Intermezzo, Nashville, LLC, to construct and install aerial encroachments at 205 Demonbreun Street. RS 2017-829, O'Connell, Allen, and Elrod, authorizes 104 Fifth Avenue South Investors, LLC, to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 104 Fifth Avenue South. And finally, RS 2017-830, Murphy, Leonardo, and others, honors the service, career, and legacy of Judge J. Randall Wyatt, Jr. upon his retirement as judge of the Davidson County Criminal Court, Division II. Committee reports. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Budget and Finance Committee met yesterday and recommended to the council by a vote of 8-4, 0 against, 823, 824, 826, 824, 825, 826, 827, and all approved 8-4, 0 against.
Councilman. Councilor Henderson, Parks, Library, and Recreation.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Parks, Library, and Recreation Committee discussed Resolution 824 and recommended approval, 6 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Murphy, Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Housing.
We voted for Resolution 2017-825, 4 in favor, 0 against, and Resolution RS 2017-826, 4 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Allen, Planning, Zoning, and Historical.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval for RS 2017-823, 829, and 828. Sorry to take those out of order. 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod, Public Works.
Public Works recommend for approval Resolutions 823, 27, 28, and 29. 10 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Shulman, Rules, Confirmation, Public Elections.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Rules had Resolution 2017-830. We approved that one, 8-4-0 against. All committee reports are in now. I would move to approve all resolutions on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Councilman. There's a motion to approve the consent agenda as properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We do have 3 late resolutions. The first one is Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. First, I'd like to move to suspend the rules for this.
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The councilman came in front of us. We have no problems with the suspension of the rules.
Is there objection to suspension of the rules? One objection. Is there a second objection to suspension of the rules? 2 objections. Councilman Sledge. I'm sorry, Councilman. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I, too, need to ask for suspension of the rules to introduce a late filed resolution.
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Councilman Sledge came in front of the Rules Committee, explained the necessity of proceeding on this, and we're okay with proceeding. Thank you.
Is there objection to suspension of the rules? Seeing none, Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is a resolution honoring Jerry Lee Lewis, who will be celebrating his 82nd birthday this year, and there's a very special tribute in the district I represent, District 17, at Skyville, Nashville, on the 24th. There's going to be a very star-studded event where people are coming out to honor the impact that Mr. Lewis, Jerry Lee Lewis has had on the music industry, and I just ask for everybody, if you're willing, I think most of you have signed, but if you're willing to sign the resolution, please do so. With that, I'd move the resolution. Thank you.
Let me read the caption just to make sure we're on track here. RS 2017-832, Councilman Sledge honors the legendary career of musical icon and rock and roll pioneer Jerry Lee Lewis. It's been moved and properly seconded. Councilman Scott Davis. I'm sorry? I couldn't hear him. Can you?
I want to abstain.
Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, I believe we need to open the machine pursuant to our rule. Madam Clerk, if you close the machine tally, if I'm
34 in favor, 2 abstain.
motion carries. Councilman Cooper, you have the 3rd resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to suspend the rules for an important resolution for the Office of Family Safety.
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Councilman Cooper came in front of the Rules Committee. This is a very important one, and explained the necessity of getting this one done. Rules Committee was okay with proceeding.
Thank you, Councilman. There's a request to suspend the rules. Is there objection? Seeing none, let me read the caption. RS 2017-833. Councilman Cooper approves a grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Office of Family Safety for a Victim Service Coordinator position. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would move for approval on a grant that was delayed but very important to the successful operation of our Office of Family Safety.
This is a motion to approve. It's been properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to bills on introduction and first reading. Without objection, we'll take all those bills together. Is there a motion to approve bills on introduction and first reading? There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to bills on second reading. Bill 2017-828. Council Lady Hurt. Amends the Metro Code to rename the Sexually Oriented Business Licensing Board as the Adult Entertainment or Sexually Oriented Business Licensing Board. Council Lady Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move for an indefinite deferral. We've got some issues that we're still trying to work through to find out the history in regards to the name change. So we may also include it into a larger legislation that may come before the council. So we want to defer it until we can get all of that cleared out and vetted through.
There's a motion to defer indefinitely. It's been properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-829, Council Lady Karen Johnson and Council Lady Vercher. Amends the Metro Code to require the Department of Public Works to replace, at no cost to the homeowner, government-supplied waste containers that are stolen, lost, or damaged beyond repair. Council Lady Karen Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I apologize for having to walk out for a moment.
Let's get our committee reports.
Yes, committee report.
Councilman Cooper.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Budget and Finance Committee voted 8-4 to approve the substitute and voted 8-4-0 against on the motion to defer.
Thank you. Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend adoption of the substitute and to defer it indefinitely. 10 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Lady Johnson.
I'd like to move approval of the substitute.
There's a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You're now on your bill as substituted.
And I would like to move to defer indefinitely with a brief explanation.
Floor is yours.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We are working with Public Works to come up with a plan. So this is being deferred indefinitely so Public Works can have the opportunity to work up something that will work for everyone. So I appreciate your approval to defer indefinitely.
This motion to defer indefinitely is properly seconded. Councilor Gilmore, did you? Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. BL 2017-8-4, Councilman Syracuse. Amends the Metro Code to extend the hours that certain restaurants are permitted to serve beer. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Swope.
Codes, Fairs, Farmers Market voted to pass this 3-4-0 against.
Councilman Pardue.
Well, with a heavy heart, I hate to say we had no quorum, and I am seriously getting tired of telling people that's up here on business that I apologize to them that we can't get enough committee members to show up to vote on their bills. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate your concern, and as everyone knows, we'll be adjusting some committees here in the near future. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I believe per rules, since it already went through one committee, I can still move for approval.
That's correct.
I would like to move approval. A brief explanation.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. As we know, the state passed a law that allows for liquor to be to extend the hours for liquor. This basically just follows the coattails to allow it in Davidson County, those locations for beer. And I move approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Because I just get Mr. Jameson to elaborate a little bit on the law that the state passed. Was it very narrow for just a few specific establishments? Can you tell us more about that, please, sir?
Sure. This last term, the the state legislature amended, it was section 57-4-203, and it allowed the sale of alcoholic beverages, restricted the hours that it could not be sold from just 3 to 4 a.m., and for two types of restaurants, one of which was it is downtown and in a central business improvement district and open 24 hours a day. The other restaurants were those that met the definition of being between the Cumberland River and the Pennington Bend area. So if you, essentially it plays out to about 2 or 3 restaurants that qualify under that definition. But they did provide that alcoholic beverages could now be sold at all hours except from 3 to 4 a.m. The code regulates the sale of beer, and beer is not included in the state legislature's definition of alcoholic beverages. The rationale of the sponsor is that if you can sell alcoholic beverages at all hours except from 3 to 4, should we not have beer, which currently right now can't be sold from 3 to 6 and 3 to 10 on Sundays, should we not have those 2 times match up?
Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. On this particular bill, I will just add to the discussion that I spoke with the Urban Residents Association about the impact that they felt this might have. And I think in this case, they did not see this particular legislation locally as being particularly impactful, in part because of the state bill, but I think there's still some general confusion as to this approach to policy, which, you know, is not altering policy for but a few establishments rather than seeking to take an actual approach to something that would be a generalizable deregulatory effect. So I'm just adding that as information to the discussion. Thank you.
No one else seeking recognition. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-835, Councillady Murphy, amends the Metro Code to require signs posted by building and demolition permit holders for projects in excess of a certain amount to include information regarding times during which work can be performed and certain noise levels which can be emitted. Councillady Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Councilman Swope.
Per the sponsor's request, Codes Fairs Farmers Market voted for a deferral for 1 meeting, 3-4-0 against.
Councillady Murphy.
I would like to make a motion to defer with a brief explanation. Thank you. We are deferring this because there was some confusion. I did not want this to apply to homeowners who are working on their own home. And so per the conversation with the committee and some other things, we're going to tweak this a little bit. And so I appreciate your motion tonight. You all have handouts on your desk or that I gave you in person about this legislation. If you have any questions, please feel free to email Mr. Jameson. Thank you.
There's a motion to defer 1 meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-836, Councilman Cooper authorizes the Industrial Development Board to accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to Keystone Automotive Industries Incorporated. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance met and voted 8-4-0 against to recommend on second reading to the council and to re-refer back to the Budget and Finance Committee.
There's a motion to defer. Is that your motion as well?
No,
I'm sorry.
The motion is to approve on second and re-refer back to the committee with the bill being amendable as an economic development bill on third reading.
All right. There's a motion to defer, to approve on second reading and to re-refer back to Budget and Finance on third reading.
Yes.
It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-837, Councillady Vercher, Karen Johnson, and others authorizes the acquisition of property for the purpose of building a new Metro Nashville Police Precinct. Councillady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Cooper.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted 8-4-0 against to recommend to the council.
Councillady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Pardue. Councilman Pardue. 837.
Well, that's the same story, Vice Mayor. We didn't have enough to vote.
Thank you, sir. Councillady Vercher.
I move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-838, Councillady Allen adopts property identification maps for Metro tax assessment purposes. Councillady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I think I'm the only report. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against, and I move for approval.
Motion to approve. Councillady Gilmore.
I just wanted to ask the sponsor to explain a little bit more detail what this does.
I think I may defer to planning or to Mr. Cooper. To Mr. Jameson. This is a routine adjustment that's made every year just to make things match up. Can someone at the planning table add more to that, or Mr. Jameson?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
There you go.
That's absolutely correct. This is a routine adoption of the updated maps for tax assessment purposes.
So it usually happens in this order, the tax assessors does it, and then the historical properties are looked at and done? What am I missing? Oh, I thought this was something with historical properties. I read it wrong. Thank you.
No problem. No one else seeking recognition. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-839, Councilman O'Connell, Elrod, and Allen, authorizes Third and Lee Partners, LLC, to install, construct, and maintain underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 615 3rd Avenue South. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval, please.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-840, Councilman Sledge, Allen, and Elrod, authorizes Broadstone South Gulch LLC to install, construct, and maintain underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 903 8th Avenue South. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilor
Vice
Sledge.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. Councilman O'Connell, were you seeking recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd just like to state my objection to the name Gulch South, or South Gulch.
Okay. Objection noted, sir. No one else seeking recognition. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-841, Councilman Withers, Allen, and Elrod, abandons existing easement rights for property located at 804 Sylvan Street. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get committee reports, please?
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval with a very brief comment.
Floor is yours.
Just wanted to remind everyone, for those who at home or who are paying attention to this one, this alley abandonment actually runs through what is today Kirkpatrick Park, and I know the council previously had approved an SP and some community plans, and this is just a final detail as we look to start construction of Kirkpatrick Park very soon, and I would appreciate everyone's support, and with that, I renew my motion to approve.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-842, Councilman Anthony Davis, Allen, and Elrod, abandons the Lofton Avenue right-of-way. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Potts.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Traffic Park voted to approve, 6-4, 0 against.
Councilman Potts, it's good to have you back. We're glad you survived your fall.
Thank you so much.
Councilman Davis.
Thank you. Move approval.
Motion approved is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to bills on third reading. BL 2017-762, Councilor Weiner. Changes 0.8 acres from R8 to SP zoning for properties located at 6015 and 6017 O'Brien Avenue to permit up to 9 residential units. Councilor Weiner.
Hello. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended approval as substituted, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor Weiner.
I'd like to move the substitute.
There is a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Here on your bill is substituted.
Thank you. I'd like to move the bill as substituted.
Motion to approve the substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-797, Councilman Kendall. Approved with, changes 5.73 acres from RM15 to and CS to SP zoning for property located at 2121 26th Avenue North and 2707 Clarksville Pike to permit a mixed-use development. Councilman Kendall.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Committee report, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval as amended, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman Kendall.
I'd like to move the amendment.
There's a motion to amend. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Kendall.
I'd like to move the motion as amended.
There's a motion to approve the bill as amended. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-799, Councilman Leonardo, amends the Metro Code pertaining to construction, demolition, landfills, and sanitary landfills. Councilman Leonardo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Leonardo.
I'd like to move approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-809, Councilor Murphy, cancels 0.91 acres of a planned unit development overlay district for property located at 5400 Burgess Avenue. Councilor Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor Murphy.
I would like to make a motion to, for approval.
It's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-810, Councilor Murphy, changes 2.07 acres from RM20 and RS 7.5 to SP zoning for properties located at 5402 and 5408 Burgess Avenue and a portion of 5400 Burgess Avenue to permit 8 multifamily units. Councilor Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor Murphy.
I'd like to move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-811, Councilman Scott Davis. Changes 0.72 acres from RS5 to RM20A for property located at 115, 117, and 119 Elmhurst Avenue. Councilman Scott Davis. There you go.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Davis.
Move for approval, please.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-812, Councilman Pulley. Changes 15.08 acres from R10 to RS10 zoning for various properties located along Grandview Drive, Granny White Pike, and Ackerman Court. Councilman Pulley.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval as substituted, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Pulley.
I'd like to move substitute.
There is a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? You're on your bill as substituted.
Move approval of the bill as substituted.
There's a motion to approve the bill as substituted. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-813, Councilman Syracuse. Changes 2.28 acres from CS, IWD, and R10 to SP zoning for properties located at 1600, 1602, and 1604 Lebanon Pike to permit 25 multifamily units. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning and Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you. Move approval, please.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-814, Councilor Murphy. Applies the Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District to 4.5 acres for various properties along Colorado and Nebraska Avenue. Councilor Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
I'd like to move for approval.
The motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-815, Councilor Mina Johnson. Changes 10.7 acres from R8 to SP zoning for a property located at 11 Vaughn's Gap Road to permit up to 54 multifamily units. Councilor Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval as substituted, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes, I would like to move substitute, please.
There's a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. Councilman Mendez would like to be recorded as abstaining on all of these votes, I believe, correct? We don't need to have a roll call on the motion to substitute, I don't think, though. So there's a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
I would like to move as substituted with a brief explanation.
There's a motion to approve the bill as substituted. It's properly seconded. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. At the public hearing, we do have several opposition, and then they expressed their concern. So up till last public hearing, we had 8 community meetings. Unfortunately, those 3 people showed up, missed all previous 8 meetings. But we did have another meeting, and I did follow up all these people who took their time to come here to express their concerns. And as of today, all the concerns, I believe, were addressed. And also the letter was received from a condominium association board member, and lots of questions was answered. And I did speak with the president of the homeowners association as well to make sure all the concerns they are raised via email and letter was answered. So what substitute does is, besides all the conditions already incorporated into the bill, because of the concern it was raised by the nearby condominium homeowners. They are concerned about the effect of the blasting. Although the developer do not have any blasting as of right now, but they agree to have pre-construction service similar to blasting before the grading permit is issued. That is incorporated into the bill. Also, they are very concerned about short-term rental coming into that specific plan zoning. So no short-term rental will be allowed. Short-term rental is prohibited. That condition is incorporated into the bill, as well as their homeowners association will make into their covenants. And also there's construction traffic coming into the neighborhood street was raised. So again, in one of the conditions is, all the construction traffic shall use only Highway 100 to be a Bones Gap Road access point. So that condition is added. And also the traffic, that was one of the biggest concern raised. And, unlike other districts, my district do not have so many zone change. So we are very, very sensitive to the zone change and higher density. So along with the 2 years of meeting, we were able to reduce original over 70 units to up to 54 units. So although 54 units will certainly add AM and PM traffic, however, a traffic engineer report confirmed even though 54 units will not have any impact on existing service. So for that, I'm very confident. I have addressed all the concerns raised by nearby neighbors and homeowners associations, and so I would like to ask for your approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. Madam Clerk, if you open the machines. Madam Clerk, if you close the machine and tally the votes.
None against, 1 abstain.
Motion carries. Bill 2017-816, Councilman Freeman, changes .82 acres from RS10 to SP zoning for properties located at 98 Rose Street and 99 Evelyn Drive to permit 6 multifamily units. Councilman Freeman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, as substituted, 0 against.
Councilman Freeman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move the substitute.
If there's a motion to substitute, it's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Freeman.
Thank you. I'd like to move the bill as substituted.
There's a motion to approve the bill as substituted. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-817, Lady Murphy, changes 17.93 acres of a neighborhood conservation overlay district for various properties along Leonard and Carden Avenue. Lady Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Lady Murphy.
I'd like to move for approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-818, Councilman Scott Davis, changes .42 acres from CL and R6 zoning to MULA zoning for property located at 1033 and 1043 East Trinity Lane. Councilman Scott Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Davis.
Move for approval, please.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-820, Council Lady Van Reese, changes 1.24 acres from SP and R10, from SP and RS10 to SP zoning for property located at 704, 708, and 710 Due West Avenue North to permit up to 28 multifamily units. Council Lady Van Reese. There you go.
With all committee reports in, I move approval.
There's,
No?
we need
No,
to
did I miss one?
Yes.
Committee report, pretty please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Council Lady Van Reese.
Now that they are all in, I move approval.
It's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-822, Council Lady Murphy, changes 14.81 acres from R8 to RS 7.5 zoning for various properties along Carden Avenue and Leonard Avenue. Council Lady Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Council Lady Murphy.
I would like to move for approval.
It's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-823, Council Lady Dowell, changes 6.3 acres from RM9 and RM20 to SP zoning for various properties located along Rural Hill Road, east of Mount View Road, to permit up to 72 multifamily units. Council Lady Dowell.
I think all the committee reports in, just move for approval.
Yes, ma'am. There's a motion to approve. It's properly.
Oh, wait a minute, is that planning? I'm sorry.
Oh, it is referred to planning.
It's
You're
referred
right.
to planning. I apologize. Too fast. Thank you, Berkeley.
You know, not to point out a typo or anything, but it's missing a parentheses there, and it's kind of confusing to me anyway. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Council Lady Dowell, I apologize to anyone who I may have just offended. I'm sorry. Go.
I move for approval.
Council, motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-825, Councilman Syracuse, changes 6.39 acres from CL and RS10 to SP zoning for properties located at 119, 121, 125, and 135 Donaldson Pike to permit 208 multifamily units and commercial space. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, sir. Move approval, please.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-826, Councilman Scott Davis, changes 0.4 acres from RS5 to RM20 zoning for property located at Sharp Avenue, unnumbered, west of Ellington Parkway. Councilman Scott Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 7 in favor, 1 against, and 4 not voting.
Councilman Davis.
Move for approval.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. Madam Clerk, if you'd open the machine. This requires 27 votes. colleagues. Madam Clerk, if you close the machine, tally votes.
28 in favor, 2 against, 5 abstain.
Motion carries. BL 2078-27. Councilman O'Connell amends the Metro Code to update and clarify the downtown code districts within the downtown code. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to get committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval, please.
This is a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. Councilor Gilmore.
I just wanted Mr. Councilmember O'Connell just to explain a little bit more about the sub-districts. Thank you.
Just waiting on your recognition, so.
Oh, sorry. Floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Sure, I'd be happy to talk about this a little bit. We in looking at a few projects within the downtown code and working with planning staff, and I'd be happy to invite them to speak to this a little bit more. Basically, there are some scenarios where if a development group assembles multiple parcels at the boundaries of sub-districts within the downtown code, which is broken into a number of sub-districts, it can actually make more sense to allow the guidelines that apply at a sub-district boundary to carry over into an adjacent parcel, even if it might be in another sub-district. So this basically should downtown code-wide actually be a common sense improvement. If the council lady would like further clarifications on this, I think I would invite planning staff to jump in here. Thank you.
In addition to allowing properties with multiple sub-districts to use either sub-district standards, it also applies the sub-district boundaries to the center line of the street right-of-way, which currently aren't included in sub-districts. So if any right-of-way is changed or vacated, then you're left with a property without any standards assigned to it. So it's making sure that the sub-districts extend to the center line, but also noting where we have railways and river corridors that they're considered an open space sub-district because there's no sub-district currently assigned.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So I just have one follow-up question. Are you saying that if a person's in one district, they can choose either or if they're at the edge of it?
If the property crosses the boundary of the sub-district.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. No one else seeking recognition. There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-830. Council Lady Vercher, Elrod, and others authorize the acquisition of certain right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for purposes of the Antioch Pike Richards Road sidewalk improvements. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With all committee reports in, I move for approval.
This is a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-831. Councilman Hager, Elrod, and Allen authorizes Metro to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Mount Vernon Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for properties located in 3939 and 0 Old Hickory Boulevard and 116 and 117 Mount Vernon Drive. Councilman Hager.
I believe all my reports are in, so I move for approval.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-832. Councilman Withers, Allen, and Elrod authorizes the Metropolitan Development and Housing Authority to install, construct, and maintain aerial and underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 800 Sylvan Street. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. With all committee reports in, I would like to move approval.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to our final bill, BL 2017-833. Councilman Cooper adopts the 2017 Joint Assessment of Fair Housing for Metro and authorizes the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. All committee reports in. I move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Before we adjourn, I would just, in the environment we find our country in right now. I would encourage all of you as representatives of the public to spend more time talking to each other, learn what everybody's concerned about, so that you can work better here in this room. With that, a motion to adjourn is proper. Moved and properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.